Inside Michigan Football is presented by Meyer. Hi again, friends. Welcome inside the Big House for another edition of Inside Michigan Football. The Wolverines win the season opener 34-17 here in Ann Arbor, and John Jansen, pretty good performance.
It was a good performance. It was a good performance all around. Defense played solid, ended up putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Offensively, it really felt like there was a rhythm to the offense. There was a concept, there was a flow, and it started with Bryce, and then you went all the way through the run game, and it was just nice to see a good offense on the field again.
Well, let's talk about the performance of the quarterback, Bryce Underwood, and we'll start with just decision-making and ball security.
Yeah, and so obviously I talked to Sharon about this, but it's, when he was sacked in that 2-minute drill, a lot of times when you get sacked from behind, especially young quarterbacks, they're going to carry that ball around, and he didn't have it high and tight, but he had the strength and the awareness. As soon as he got hit, he brought it in as tight as he could, didn't fumble the ball, which obviously led to the third down conversion to Channing Goodwin. There were other decisions that he could make. Some of them were, hey, I know I can put this ball on a rope and get it to Channing Goodwin, or I could put it on a rope to Andrew Marsh. May not be a completion, but the ball was never at risk.
Yeah, he'd make good decisions with the football. And early on, Chip Lindsey, the new offensive coordinator, used some tempo offensively with the young quarterback.
He did. That first drive, it was all, get to the line of scrimmage, get set, don't let the defense make any adjustments. And there's probably 10 or 15 plays that they're calling from, and they had probably a chance all week long, Bryce, to be able to sit down, look at those plays, look at different looks. He was very comfortable. Then the second drive, they decided to huddle up. And it just, when you control the tempo, now all of a sudden you're dictating to your quarterback, and your quarterback in turn is dictating to the defense. This is how we're going to operate, and you're going to play at our pace versus the other way around.
All right, let's go to Jansen Vision for one of his early throws.
Yeah, and this is just the over the middle pass to Marlon Klein. You can see Marlon Klein line up in the tight end spot. All he's going to do is get a wide release. What that does is, as you see the safety, it's going to start to appear in the screen, widens the safety out. Soon as he gets past this linebacker, he breaks it back in, and he's wide open. Now, all that means for Bryce is, hey, I just ride that fake and put the ball on him, and it's a great pitch and catch for a tight end that we've been waiting to make some plays, and a quarterback that just needs to develop confidence.
All right, you mentioned the 3rd and 14 completion to Channing Goodwin. This was interesting because Chip Lindsey trusted him inside of 2 minutes to go, big third down. They didn't run it and punt. They let the quarterback make a play.
Yeah, and you got to trust your players. It doesn't matter if he's a freshman or a senior. If you need a play made, you got to call a play that you have the belief that he can complete. And when that play comes in, I'm sure Bryce, as a guy that wants to make plays, is sitting there going, "Thank you. Just let me make a play."
And of course, he got his first career touchdown pass to Marlon Klein on a really nice route.
That was a double move, and Channing Goodwin again. Even if you're not catching the ball, you can set other guys up. He runs a hard in, and that draws the corner and the safety, and Marlon was just wide open, and there's no one around him.
All right, let's talk about the Michigan run game, and we'll start with a Justice Haynes touchdown run.
Yeah, this was absolutely beautiful. Love seeing the running back get into the second level. The way that you do that is you've got to be able to block linebackers, and this one's going to go right over Andrew Sprague. That's him right here. As this linebacker starts to approach, he aborts anything that he was going to do on the line of scrimmage and picks up that linebacker. You can see Marlon Klein does a nice job turning this defensive end out, and Andrew Sprague does a great job of leveling up a linebacker. It's not an easy block to make, especially for a young player. As soon as that happens, you've got a huge hole in there, and then it's up to Justice Haynes and his natural ability to run away from everyone.
Takes it to the house for his first touchdown for the Wolverines. Later, he gets another touchdown, and you like the blocking here from, well, the quarterback.
Yeah, how do you develop leadership as a freshman? It's not about the words you use, it's about the action that you take. And this one, it's not a broken play, but it's just a well-defended play to initially start. And all of a sudden, hey, your running back comes out here, he's running away from somebody he knows he can run away from this guy probably as well. But guess who's out here leading the path? It's Bryce Underwood. And I'm just going to forward this just a little bit. You've got a safety that undercuts a block here. There's only one guy to beat. Does he make the play? I don't know, but this is the block that springs them. And when your quarterback is willing to do that, lay a shoulder into someone, guys are going to look at that and go, all right, that's a step in the right direction.
All right, and Justice Haynes later with a long touchdown run that set up his own short touchdown run, but another well-blocked play, and we saw the breakaway ability.
Yeah, I mean, he has game-changing speed, and it's fun. And it's a little bit different than, Jordan Marshall. It's a 1-2 punch that's really going to pay off for Michigan this year.
Welcome to Ann Arbor, young man.
Yes.
Michigan's offense effective. We'll talk some defense coming up here on Inside Michigan Football. Inside Michigan Football is brought to you by Meijer, presenting sponsor of the 2025 Michigan football season and proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest. And by Michigan Medicine. There's a difference between an answer and a Michigan answer. To find your Michigan answer, visit michigananswers.com. Gonna fire, and he's got his man across the 30, lit up at the 32-yard line, and it was that guy, Brandon Pillman, coming up from the safety spot.
Our defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, called a good game. The players came out with the right mentality. We came out intact, played football, great football. Always things we can clean up, but that's the game of football. We'll come back tomorrow, look over film, and get better.
You guys had 9 TFLs. You guys looked like you were flocking to the ball. Just kind of dive into that a little bit.
I think the mentality of our defense is really all 11 to the ball. We live by that, stand by that. So the non-TFLs, that's really not nothing like surprising to me. I expect more, to be honest.
I really like what I saw from the defense. I feel like we played a lot of physical football today. We was getting after it. Every time they threw the ball, we was there. Every time they ran the ball, we was there. We was just flying around. Everybody was making plays from the first level to the third level of the defense.
Michigan 1-0 after their 34-17 victory over the New Mexico Lobos. And let's talk about the Michigan defense here, John, and we'll start with Jansen Vision, because Wink Martindale was giving this New Mexico offense a lot of different looks.
They were, and as you can see here, we talked about it during the broadcast, but you got 3 bigs inside here. And so you got 5 down, you got a tight end that is manned up on a defensive back here, so he's not going to be in the rush, but then you get a chance to add in a linebacker here. So 5 down, and as I let this play start, all right, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At last I checked, you've only got 5 offensive linemen as well. So they add in Jay Sean as the extra rusher, manned up here, and there's just no one to account for Jay Sean, and he gets a great hit. And it's just a numbers game that Wink is playing. And you saw the quarterback get that ball out. You're gambling a little bit, but you're hoping that, hey, you get home before the offense has a chance to get open.
What about the way he was using some linebackers? Wink Martindale here, Jay-Sean Barham. They actually walked up T.J. Metcalf on a couple of occasions and essentially played him out of a linebacker spot.
When you're going nickel personnel and you've got 5 defensive backs, every once in a while you're going to need one of those linebackers or defensive backs to play a linebacker position. And so in the read option, you saw him come in down on the goal line a couple of times and make some plays on the quarterback. But it's the ability to have Jay Sean play as an edge, and we heard about this really all off season, as an edge, rushing the A gap, B gap, C gap. You saw him all over the field. And when you have a linebacker with that type of ability, and then you've got the back end with a Metcalf, or you got Cole Sullivan, Ernie Hausman, I'm really excited about what this defense can be.
Well, and they hit hard between Ernest Hausman, Brandon Hillman, who's no regard for his own well-being, and he enthusiastically has no regard for his own well-being. These guys were hitting.
They are, and I mean, they see the bullseye, and it's all about timing. You got to hit the right place, the right time, and they have that.
And how about missed tackles? There weren't a lot of missed tackles out of this defense.
No, we saw a couple late in the game in the secondary, but there wasn't really any added yardage to it. So it's something that nobody ever plays a perfect game, but they did a nice job of solidifying those tackles.
All right, let's go back to Jansen Vision to look at some of the stuff that Wink Martindale was doing up front.
Yeah, and this is just a simple TE twist, but I love watching these because sometimes it's the most basic things. You got Trey Pierce, who's right here, and Derek Moore. All Trey is going to do is occupy both of these guys. If you can get this offensive guard to turn his shoulders, he can't come off and block Derek Moore, and it's exactly what happens. As this play starts to go, as soon as he turns his shoulders, now Derek Moore knows, I got a clean path to the quarterback, and it's a race to get there before the ball gets out. ball gets out, but quarterback pays a heavy price.
Well, he paid a heavy price on a number of occasions and took a lot of clean hits from the Michigan defense. But let's talk about this play on Jansen Vision.
Yeah, and the end result is one that the Big Ten will hopefully appeal to the NCAA. This is the one that Jay Sean was ejected on, but I'm going to let this play just a hair here. And again, it's a numbers game. You've got 5 guys up front that are blocking, and you add in an extra guy over here as a tight end or as extra blocker, but then you just add in another rusher. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the number count doesn't work. And as soon as TJ Guy goes in here, then Jay Sean knows he's one-on-one with this tackle, and he's running backwards. Jay Sean's running forwards. It's no match. Now, we can discuss whether or not it was a targeting call. They called it on the field. It will be up to the Big Ten to decide what they want to do.
All right, well, let's talk more about some quarterback hits as the Wolverines did some creative things defensively to get to this young man and make his life difficult.
Yeah, and this time it's Ernie Hausman, right? So this time, you mentioned the 5 down, 4 down. This is a 4 down look. And you got 2 linebackers. Right now, this, you can see by the way he's looking, he's zeroed in on Jimmy Rolder, all right? Wrong linebacker. You've got to be able to have your head on a swivel, and all that does is, hey, you see this guy start to itch up, you may have to come over here and put a block on him. May not be a great block, but sometimes all you got to do is be a speed bump. He doesn't, and Ernie has a straight line to the quarterback. This is 2 plays after he just took that big hit from Jay Sean.
All right, let's talk about some young players who made some plays late. We start with Cole Sullivan with an interception. He also had a quarterback sack. That kid started to create a buzz in fall camp, and we saw it on Saturday night. We saw why.
You heard whispers from the offensive line about Cole Sullivan. Then you started hearing the coaches start talking about the development of Cole Sullivan. He's young, and you saw the speed. You saw the ability to react to a ball in the air. Really excited about what he can bring to this defense.
Nate Marshall made a play, a freshman getting his first action. That was exciting to see. Dominic Nichols with a big sack as well.
Yeah, and Nate Marshall, we talk about that interception. It was Nate Marshall that put the pressure on the quarterback, and then we saw him with a sack later.
Straight ahead, John Jansen talks with Michigan head coach Sharon Moore here on Inside Michigan Football.
Welcome back to Inside Michigan Football. Bryce Underwood finished with 251 yards passing in his Michigan debut, the most among the 4 men to start a game at QB as a freshman. Maybe more importantly, he finished with 0 turnovers.
I got a lot of work to do, of course, going back to the drawing board probably tonight, honestly, and prepare for next week. So.
What are you most proud of? What are you happiest with your performance?
I scored my first touchdown on the big house, of course. That's a blessing to even be here, of course. So that's probably my most impressive moment right now. So
tell us about that first touchdown pass to your big tight end.
We work that play at practice every single day, so it's like it was bound to happen on that play there. So
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you about Justice's second touchdown when you threw a pretty mean block there in the corner.
Honestly, it was just a reflex. It was like, oh, he right there? All right, cool. Now it's my time to do what teammates do and make a play for the other team. So.
But does that send a message to your guys that I am here for anything and everything?
Of course, they was excited about it. As you can see, if you watch the film, you can see the whole sideline jump up as soon as that happened. So,
thanks for the time, Bryce.
Our conversation with the coach is brought to you by Meyer.
When you look back on this game, how do you think your team played?
Yeah, I think we created a lot more turnovers, and I think we had the one on special teams with Andrew Marsh, and unfortunately going to the ground, got the ball hit up, but other than that, we were pretty good with it. So that was good to see. I thought the defense tackled pretty well. The effort was consistent throughout the game. So all in all, the goals that we wanted looked like we upheld, but execution, we just got to be better.
Bryce Underwood, your evaluation of him?
I thought he played well. Never going to be perfect, and then there's plays that you'd wish he'd go here or a little bit off here, but he made some key throws and some key moments. A 2-minute drive was a huge momentum get for us to come back in that and have to have the poise, that long drive, and throw that dig across the middle, and made some really good plays, so I thought he played well.
I thought it was the sack that happened right before that where he got caught from behind, he possessed the ball, and then I know you mentioned it already, but how big of a throw was that on third down? One, for Chip Lindsey to call it, have the confidence, and then for Bryce to be able to execute.
Yeah, it was huge. It was a huge opportunity for us to instill confidence in himself, having Chip call it and Bryce see like, oh, he has the confidence to call it, and then him making the play. So just kind of synchronize what we already thought. So it was good to see.
Justice Haynes, I mean, could you expect anything more in his debut in the big house?
No, I mean, the most yards since 1970 a back has had in his debut. And the thing is, we've seen this in training camp. We've seen this in spring ball of how explosive he could be. And it was exciting to watch it in a game. And as soon as he broke that first one, I said, guys, he's gone. He's not going to get caught. And it was cool to see.
Obviously, when you're talking about the success of a running back, you got to evaluate the offensive line. Your thoughts about their consistency throughout the game?
Yeah, I thought, especially running the football, and there's runs that you look at, you're like, we could, you see that it's a tackled for a short gain or whatever, but sometimes it's a missed block, it's a miss. So I thought from this game to last year at the first game, I thought the consistency overall was much better.
Everybody was wondering what would happen with the tight end position. And we know it's a deep room. Marlon's been around for a while, but a career game for him. Your thoughts on his play?
Thought his performance was really well. I mean, to have 93 yards and have a touchdown in his first game was really well. He was consistent and kind of doubled what he's done all training camp.
So let's switch over to the defensive side of things. And you mentioned that not a lot of missed tackles, but your initial evaluation of being able to pressure the quarterback and stop the run.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall I got to look at the yards rushing. They had 50 yards rushing net, so pretty good. Stopped the run really well, which is in conjunction with winning football games, and I think 3 picks and a lot of sacks. So, I mean, those guys played really well.
And a lot of young guys got some great run at the end there. What was the value of being able to get those guys in?
Huge, huge. You're going to need a lot of guys to play in a season. You can't just count on 11 guys or 12 guys in different packages. You're going to need 22 guys to play. So having those guys get game experience was really important.
So you guys are 1-0. I know that, hey, you're headed back to Norman, Oklahoma. There's a lot that we'll talk about throughout the course of the week, but any dining recommendations in Norman?
You know what? It's been so long, I can't really remember. The only thing I do remember is this place called Sooner Legends, but other than that, no, it's been so long since I've been there, so I'd have to look at the town and see anything.
All right. Congratulations, Coach, and thanks.
Appreciate it. Go Blue.
Our Arrow Steel Man of the Week is Michigan running back Justice Haynes, who rushed for 159 yards on 16 carries and 3 touchdowns.
It was a good team win. We're going to watch the film. We're going to see what we need to improve on, but, we're going to enjoy this win. We played physical, I think. I think the offense played well, and then, the defense played well as well. And we just complimented each other, and we just imposed our will. And we always talk about physicality, and I feel like we brought that today on both sides of the ball.
159 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns, both career highs. It kind of looks like this place brings the best out of you.
Hey, when I made this decision, I had a feeling that it was going to be the best decision of my life, and I still to this day say this was the best decision of my life. God really pushed me here, and just the way that they've accepted me, the brotherhood, Coach TA, the way he's accepted me, Coach Moore, it's really been truly a blessing, and I'm just thankful to say that I'm playing for the University of Michigan.
Haynes in the backfield, Underwood in a shotgun. Takes the snap, back to pass, looking left, gonna deliver, he's got a man out there, it's Marlon Klein at the goal line, into the end zone, a double move for a Michigan touchdown.
It feels awesome, just putting up points for my team, that's the most important part. It was a great game for us, a lot of things to clean up on special teams, offense, defense, but a win is a win. Win 1,013, that means a lot to all of us, and we're just super excited to get the season started off right.
How much do you underscore the quick start, getting the 2 touchdowns right away, and just kind of looking like you guys were ready for it today?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me. That's what I've been seeing all spring ball, all summer, all fall camp by Deuce, Justice Haynes, and 23 as well, Jordan Marshall. So I'm not surprised at all. The boys were super fired up about that, and we just got to finish out and continue to play like that for 4 quarters.
Well, John, I'm sure the coaches think there's stuff to clean up. Oklahoma, Saturday night.
Little confidence built up today, and this is one of those games you come to Michigan for, to go to Norman, Oklahoma, and play against the Sooners. It's going to be a great matchup. It's already a really good defense, and Mateer, their quarterback, had a hell of a day today. So it's going to be a big-time challenge for this team.
And we'll review that game next week here on Inside Michigan Football. So long. Inside Michigan Football is brought to you by Meijer, presenting sponsor of the 2025 Michigan football season and proud supporter of hundreds of local sports teams across the Midwest.